Welcome, everyone. I'm Coach Wolverine, the owner and creator of the Wolverine lifestyle. And today, I have a topic that has been kind of weighing on me for quite some time, actually. And I was trying to figure out how to formulate bringing this subject forward without justifying things in any direction. Then I realized that my own ego was actually getting in the way because I felt like I had to show up in a specific particular way to deliver this message when it's really not the case at all. But my question is, actually, before I ask this question, I want you to keep an open mind and pay attention to the inner conflicts that you might feel between your brain and your guts, your intuition, okay? So the question is, do you actually want the things that you say you want? Or are you holding on to a belief that society has an expectation of you to want these things in particular? So, for example, I live in Alberta, and a very prominent thing in Alberta is if you are a man that works in the oil field, you drive a lifted truck. Or you have all of the toys. Like, I have known people who have had a plethora of dirt bikes and skidoos and quads and side-by-sides and this, that, and the other thing, and they might use them once a year. So they literally collect these things purely just to say that they have them. The big fancy house that when you're away working, you're not even at home to enjoy or benefit from. You literally, so many of us just have these giant homes purely for the status of saying that they have this X amount of square foot giant home. The job title. Or my favorite one is the conceptual bragging of how many hours a person puts into their work. It's like, oh, you think you're tired? Let me tell you, I've been working 18 to 20 hours a day for the last 3 weeks and running on 2 hours of sleep and a pot of coffee. And it's a very, this is a very prominent thing that I see in Alberta. It's a ridiculous thing. Now, of course, this is a worldwide spread thing, and there's more of it in certain ways in different areas of the world, of course, or it looks different in certain areas of the world. So I'm just right now going to speak from my experience and through my perspective of what I see. The vast majority of us who witness this and watch these individuals stack up all of the toys and the nice house and whatever it is, the materialism of it, and they're not even happy. This is what I see. Okay, a lot of it is surface level happiness of having these material things, but deep down they're not happy. And I know this is not a men thing or a women specific thing. I see this on absolute both sides of the spectrum. People will move to Red Deer specifically to work, and not Red Deer, that's the city where I live. People will move to Alberta specifically to work. And if you live in Alberta and you don't work the oil field, apparently it is a big thing. So I used to manage a nightclub, and I remember one of the when we would kick somebody out because they were either too intoxicated or belligerent or whatever, one of their disses was, have fun at your $11 an hour job. Right? You think you have an adult job, you're managing a nightclub. You think this, you think that, right? When this individual was, in the oil field working X amount of hours per day, and was one of those individuals that would brag about how many hours he works. Essentially, through how I see it now, how much of his life he's sacrificing for this job to make money for a company that would have his position filled sooner than his obituary would be in the newspaper if he was to pass away. Now, my main question was, do we actually want the things that we say we want, or that we think we want? And, if you're still watching this far, I'm hoping that you've started asking yourself or started questioning, it's like, do you actually want these things? Do you really think the big penthouse suite is necessary? Do we really think that having the sports car is really necessary? Do we really think that, we are less of a human being because of not having these things? And if at all you're sitting there watching this and being like, well, yeah, those stuff is great, I want to ask you the question is for what purpose? Having the materialism stuff, yeah, it's cool. But at the end of the day, it's just material things. And if you truly actually want those things, then hey, great. That is awesome. And I'm not talking down to anyone for this. The pureness of this video is to instill the perspective shift as to, do we actually want these things? Or do we just think that we want these things? Are we killing ourselves because we feel like we have to have these things to be a specific person? And this is actually something that I have struggled with in my life a lot. And it still comes up for me. This is still something that I deal with on an occasion, is looking at or seeing somebody have something that I want and then asking myself, well, am I not good enough because I don't have that? And letting it stew, fester, and basically just bringing my vibe right down and making myself feel like crap. Stealing my own shine because I don't have this thing. Because I work hard. I do. But then I realized something. Sometimes it takes me longer than others to realize this, but if I actually really, really wanted that thing that I am now in envy for with this individual, I would have it. I would have figured out a way to get it, but I don't have it. So when I take a step back and I look at this stuff, I then realize that comparing ourselves in envy with all of this stuff, it's an ego trip. We are purposely putting ourselves through an ego trip. And we as humans do this on a regular basis because we like to play victim to ourselves. We do. This happens to us. We do this to ourselves a lot more than what we realize. Because here's the thing. When we actually want certain things, we will figure out a way how to get said certain things. Right? A mother will figure out a way how to buy food for her kids. Alcoholics will figure out a way how to find alcohol. People that smoke will figure out a way how to find or how to get tobacco. People who are addicted to the gym will figure out a way to work out. So when we sit back and actually analyze our life and ask ourselves, do we actually want these things? We probably don't. We probably don't. If we don't actually have the things that we say we want, it's either that we don't want them bad enough, or we just think we want them because we have this belief that society has an expectation of us to. And it doesn't matter which end of the spectrum you're on, because either of which is okay. It's really okay. What's not okay is when we place our own worth in these things. Because at the end of the day, what I feel is most important are the relationships that we have in our life. Because in my opinion, the most important thing in life is the experiences that we have, the memories that we make, the people that come into our lives that will impact us and change us in the most beautiful of ways. And so a lot of our envy for other people's things comes from a scarcity mindset. It comes from lack. It feels like it comes from a belief that we don't have enough. But when we actually take a step back and sit in that place of gratitude, like when I say gratitude, I don't just mean the regular things that we'd be thankful for, the food, the shelter, the water. Yeah, those are all things, but like every single aspect of our lives. The fact that we have two hands, if we have two hands, because there are people out there who are, amputees that do not, who wish that they did have their hand again. Everything, the ability to walk, the ability to breathe, the ability to see. There are things that we have in our life that other people wish that they had. Now, I'm not talking down to the latter at all. But the fact of the matter is, our lives could be worse. They really could be. And where we're currently at right now, our past self would be proud of us for. We have to remember that when on this journey, life is hard. It really is. And the fact that you woke up today, you got your ass out of bed, you made it to work, you watched this video through, it's a win. Those are all wins. And I really am believing that it's time for us to start taking a step back and realizing how rich we truly are, how abundant we truly are. Sorry for the phone in the background. So I'm going to leave you with this question one more time. Do you actually want the things that you think you want? Or are you simply living your life holding on to a belief that society has an expectation for you to want these things? That's it for today, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. If you agree, great. If not, I want to hear from you as well. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm right, simply sharing an opinion and a point of view. If you have a different perspective, I would absolutely love to hear it. Take care, everyone.